Hello and welcome into the Sorare Data Show. I am Andrew Lairdinho. Find me as Lairdinho on Sorare. Hopefully the internet's working today. It was not working on Friday, and I thought that was like a sign, like maybe I should come back Monday. And then I was doing something last night, and the internet was like acting all weird. And I'm hoping it works today, but we'll see. We'll see. Thank you to everybody for coming in. Sorare Strats, Stefan, and Pico Player on the podium. Congratulations to you three. Source Chats, how was your Christmas? And Stefan was saying, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everyone. My Christmas was great. The last few years, literally like 2 of the last 3 or 3 of the last 4, some sort of illness struck my family and basically like canceled Christmas for us. And we got through it this year. We got to all of our celebrations. And that's really all we wanted this year. So yeah, thank you for asking. I hope everybody else had a good holiday season. Obviously, we've got New Year's Eve tomorrow, if you're watching this either live or on Monday, December 30th. But yeah, we're getting there. We're getting to 2025. Anyway, Luis, what's up? Johnny, Glenn, morning all. Hope everyone had a great Christmas except Fabio Vieira. GG's on that one. Mikey Baston, what's up? Harry Trades in the house. Ahmed, what's up? Midiozo live on X. Let's go. Mike says I'm still choppy. Am I really? Oh no, I see that little wink. I see it. Ryan Walter, what's your 2025 Sorare resolution? I haven't even thought of that. I don't know why it would be any different than what I do right now, which is just try to win everything I can. I had a podium going this game week, and then I didn't. Agent Cooper, I'm upset. I'm upset about missing the last game week deadline because of Christmas and all my players smashing for the first time in ages. Maybe you wouldn't have put them in the right lineups. Scosmo in the house. Love to see it. Love to see it. Kai, cool to be here live. Thank you for coming in live. Carrie can't stay. We'll catch up with the stream later. Looking forward to it. Merry Christmas. Thank you for at least for coming in and saying hello. Really appreciate that. Yippee-ki-yay. I'm upset for giving Salah that first assist. Yeah, I heard that there's some shenanigans with this Salah assist, and as somebody who doesn't have Mohamed Salah, I hope they take it away. I'm sorry to everybody who has him, but you're just cheating, really. Major NFT, what's up? Red or Dead 69, Sean Kennedy. That's right. Enjoy the last couple of days of 2024, everyone. Ricomon, so good to be back. Tuggy, love to see it. Arouge, what's with all the Serie A buys? I just think they're good. Durs TFT, who are OG users? I'm one of them. And I would say it's pretty much anyone who's been on the platform for even more than a year, but it's really anybody who's been on since for 2 years and more. And they're sad. Braden, what's up? Nico, Philly Dilly, OG users upset because the internet doesn't work. And Midiozo said OGs need prices to go up 10x. So you know what's funny is that they think that, but there are so many OG users who already, even without it, are wildly profitable. And yet they still are like, no, let's go back to when I was making more money than I should have. Scosmo is victory lapping Nicola Rovella, as he should. But knowing me, I wouldn't have even played him. So I'm not gonna go too much into that. Luis said, I probably moved to first in in-season Division 3 limited without the Salah assist. So yeah, Luis is on team. Take that fake assist away. Adam said, OG users waiting for the summer of NFTs again. Yeah, maybe that's all we need. Videos, if you don't own an OG badge on Sorare, you're not an OG. Yeah, that's fair. I feel like they gave it to so many people, though. Sean Thorpe, looking forward to a Laird special to get me through my first day back in the office already while the wife and kids are still enjoying the festivities. Sean, just between us, so my wife works in education, and so she's not working this week. My kids are off from school. Going back to work is a relief sometimes. And today's one of those days. Matsuyama, what is up? I joined in 2020 and I'm very happy, but that might be the gin talking. Sometimes the gin brings out the truth, though. And so it's okay. Don't feel bad but being happy and enjoying Sorare. That's crazy. We should, the number of people who continue to play Sorare and yet always seem miserable makes me wonder why they keep playing. Like, why would you continue to do something that's totally in your control that you don't like? What are we doing? Anyway, Nico said, I started like a month ago. What is the summer of NFTs? The summer of NFTs was the summer of 2020, 2020, 2021. Both of them? I don't know. Where basically any NFT went from being minted to being worth thousands of dollars. And all you had to do was like be on the internet and you made money. And part of that carried over to Sorare, despite a plethora of complaints from people who thought that Sorare did not take advantage of the NFT boom by telling everyone that like, oh no, these are just NFTs. Don't worry about the fantasy football game. And they got like significant negative feedback from users, some of whom work for Sorare today, that they didn't take advantage of this NFT boom, that they should have like done more. And by should have done more, they mean should have done more to make us more money, even though we made hand over fist in that time just for owning NFTs. And just look at any price graph from then and you'll see that that's true. And that most of that money was made by the users of the platform and not Sorare, which is kind of why Sorare is set up as it is now, because they're trying to get their money back. But did we already start the topic? Are we like already in the topic? I don't want to go too much into it. Scosmo said we're just a bunch of masochists. Maybe that's true. Thomas said, I think those that complain weekly but keep coming back are the same people who are lifelong Everton, Tottenham, other miserable club fans. It's could be. Chris Holt, OGs had their chance to make money. People that joined in 2022 are the real hardcore. That's a fair point. Like I'm very much in the OG category. And I joined pre 2022, and it's the people who joined around me who are upset that I don't like. I get it, but also like the complete inability to recognize how fortunate they were to join when they did and to be wildly successful in terms of profitability just for being there is staggeringly breathtaking to me. Johnny said, I got myself a celebration card and feel prestigious. Adam said, I think there are too many NFT chasers in the Sorare community thinking their cards will 10x overnight. That likely won't happen. So that did happen though, Adam. And that's sort of part of where the problem lies, is that there was a time where cards did that. Like, and cards that really shouldn't have done that. The one that I always go back to, oh wait, there he is. I'll share this price graph with you guys because it really makes no sense. I bought a Hussein Awar, who is now at Al Ittihad. Who knew? I'm gonna have to scroll back a long time because it was one of the first. This was like one of the first big purchases I made on the platform, and was one of those where I was like, "Did I really just spend this much money on it?" And so I spent $384 on a Hussein Awar card on February 10th, 2021. And less than a month later, March 8th, I sold it for $1,700. And like he was fine February 21 to March 21 score wise. Like, in fact, he's never hit 100. My God, never. Like he was, but like that's what happened. I was able to flip that card because I was on the platform. And there's so many instances of stuff like that happening. Now, obviously, there are people who like bought that card and bought a lot of those cards and then they didn't appreciate. But and I will concede that those people should feel, or like I accept like why they would feel upset. But for the people who joined around me and were able to take advantage of that, and then to this day think that like Sorare's job is to make them money. Oof. Louis said, I joined January 2022. I love the game though. Kai said, I bought Revel. Are we just going to keep like throwing this Ravella thing in my face? Bought Ravella as a super rare when he was still at Monza because they said he would be the Italian new holding six of the future, but he is allergic to DAs except for last weekend. I think I used that line to Scosmo. Literally, like I'm like, I think he's allergic to decisives. And I owned a Ravella at one point. Let's see. I owned one of his, where was he before? Bologna, Genoa. I always get them mixed up. Like, let's see where that card is now. So a lot of this show today is going to be looking back at things that happened previously. Let me see here. Here's a Ravella card. So I bought Ravella. My God. So this is where I should be upset. So Basilbot won a Ravella, and I bought it in November of 2021 for $1,100. And then I sold it 11 months later for 387. But shout out to ETH profits. Let's go. 0.25 to 0.299. That's all that matters. But I bet, let's see, did I win anything with this? Oh, I did win. Look at this. Look at all these rewards I won. I won $100 from All-Star Division 4 in game week 216. So that means I scored 250 points. 260. Actually, you know what? I think I was looking at 216 previously. That's that's weird because we're going to look at game week 216. Yeah, look at that. Scored 314 points with this lineup. Franco Armani, Yaroslav Rakitsky, who I captained, Lucas Zelarayan, who's heading back to Argentina, Nicola Ravella, and Jesper Karlsson, who was an absolute GOAT at the time. 314 points. I won 0.02 ETH. You love it. But anyway, and then I won this Jean-Victor Makengo, which, man, that's so funny because I was going to bring this up too. I traded Makengo, I believe. I did. And a Rydal Baku limited card. I sold these two together. They have a combined floor price right now of $1.66, and I sold them for $303. Anyway, I digress. Thomas said, I did make money in the Gary V boom and then burned it all in the really bad cards because I was like a dog that actually caught the mail truck. No idea what to do back then. That's a great metaphor. That's a great metaphor. Scosmo said, if you buy a house for $40,000, then the market booms through inflation and supply shock and your house is worth $400,000, then the city you lived in is bombed and now you have a $2,000 house that no one will buy. Should you rejoice that it was worth $400,000 and you were profitable? Or be upset that you lived in a bombed house worth 5% of what you paid? So Scosmo, I think it's actually a little different because I think it's when your house was $400,000, you probably were able to sell that house for $400,000 and buy like 12 houses for a combined 400. So now you have 12 houses worth nothing. Like you have more houses. Anyway. Clip said, I know they are technically NFTs, but are they really still NFTs? That terminology, is just a turnoff when you consider the grifting that goes on around things like Bored Apes, etc. They are technically NFTs. Yes. Luis knows an ETH profit when he sees it. Way to be. JG, why are OG players mad? They bought players for really cheap prices and had the chance to 5x or even 20x what they put in. That game was not sustainable. This one is. So there is I think maybe I'm using OG to include a much bigger part of the player base than I should, because there are people who bought those cards for the 5x or 20x what people like me bought them for, and they're upset about that. And because they saw a lot of people who were buying cards and then making huge profits, and then they tried to do the same thing and it didn't work. What they didn't realize, or what they don't realize still to this day, is that had they used that money on like other NFTs, the same thing would have happened. Minus the ability to like yield from their rocks and dinosaur bones and cartoon penguins, although I think those are actually doing pretty well now. Agent Cooper, J League rare cards went from 50 pounds to 800 pounds just because the new Japanese footy season was about to start. See Terahito Nagakawa. No skill was required at all to make money, to make crazy money back then. So I will actually bring up one that I had myself. I won a rare card. Where am I going to find this card? Because there have been so many of them. I won a rare card of Shusaku Nishikawa, who is to this day, but who knows if he'll retire, the starting goalkeeper for Urawa Reds. I have his super rare because I thought it would be good for Cap 240. And then, here we go. 79 of 100. So I won this card. And then I sold it for $590 on January 9th, 2022. So January 9th, 2022. I'll even just use the specific season to make it easier to find. Was it a 2021 card? There we go. So I knew this card was going to go up. Like, I won it in January. Excuse me, I won it in December. End of December. So it was an off-season card. In season didn't really matter though. But it was like, oh, when the J League picks up again, this card is going to be worth more. And I sold it for $590, which you can see right here. And then you can see all of the, like, I just didn't wait. Had I just waited, in fact, the person I sold it to waited, they sold it in March for $1,300. And then got a slight ETH loss later on. Big fiat loss. But that's not even what I was going to talk about today. Clip said, I think it's the second gen OG players who joined after the Gary Vee boom that invariably will be mad. They didn't buy players cheap. That's true. Kai said, Andrew, your Italian lineup and champion is still winning money this game week, so your plan worked. It's working. It has not worked yet. Hilo said, second gen OG were mostly fine because still had a season of easy thresh and high card prices. The third set of OGs, limited babies, I call them, are the ones who got, BF'd. So, Hilo, I will even say you're wrong about that too. Shout out to Nep, though. Scosmo said, I could have, but I didn't. I stayed in my house until it gets bombed. Most people didn't sell their profitable galleries. Like most don't sell their profitable houses. They carry on as they are. Hindsight. I don't think housing and, well, actually, maybe housing is an appropriate one because I've never really looked at housing as an investment in terms of how I and a lot of people I know who don't like invest in real estate. Like you buy a house and you live there. Like the utility is living in this house. And yes, you hope that the value goes up whenever you need to sell it. I'm hoping to never leave my house because I hate moving so much. But the utility of living there is also different. I don't know. Maybe it is. Johnny said, I think we lost a lot of traders and users when big money cards and players get red X'd. I don't think red X's have that big of an impact, to be honest. Bob Franklin, thanks for coming in. Adam said, some OGs bought Sorare cards because they may become Michael Jordan rookie type collectibles. NFT tech was the path there. They've kind of ignored that aspect. So I think Sorare are ignoring it because nobody cares. Housing isn't an investment. It's a game. Scosmo, this is an all-time line. I don't think everybody will understand this, but that is a great line. Louis said, I joined when Nep joined. I didn't get burned as bad as Nep, though. Yeah, I mean, and he's still playing, right? Obviously, like, it was an expensive lessons over the years. But anyway, let's go back to August of 2021. This is when I think this is the time that I'm going to focus on today because the examples I'm going to show you will help explain why people are upset. And again, there was a Twitter response hold on, because I'll read that because I think a lot of people do feel this way. It was from FI Delboy7 on Twitter. Like the response to the question of like why OG users are upset, and they said, "What? It's not that our galleries used to be worth 60,000 now, and now they're worth 3,000." And like, yes, people are upset about that. Obviously, like I get it. I'm not here to say like you shouldn't be upset about that. I'm not here to tell anybody to not be upset about anything. Like if you're going to be upset, you're going to be upset. Um, the but that's like they're upset about that, and they're upset about like high scores to win now, and classic is so tough, which is something that has been talked about literally for years. And now that it's coming to fruition, everyone's acting all surprised. But really what it comes down to is there was a significant amount of time on this platform for a lot of users. And somebody brought it up earlier. I'm sorry, I forget who it was. Sorry, I was going to scroll back, but I'm not going to be able to find it. I think the number of people on this platform who are upset don't realize how easy it was to win, sell cards, and sell cards for absurd prices when it was happening. And I know it sounds weird to do this, that like you're upset about the game being tougher, but somehow people are upset about the game being tougher without recognizing just how easy it was. And I was looking back at a few cards that I bought that I used to own. I don't own them anymore. In fact, I don't even know what I was doing that I came upon the card that I'm going to show you in a little bit. But, you go down a Sorare data rabbit hole, you get to a card. And one of the things that I've been really trying to focus on recently, which was really what I was trying to do on Friday's show before the internet decided I was not going to do that show. But I think we need to do a better job, and we meaning like Sorare data. I think we need to do a better job of showing people really what they've yielded from their cards, because all we show on Sorare data is like, here's what you paid for your card. Here's the floor price now. Here's the 3-day average. And when your acquisition price is so much higher than what the cards are worth now, you're like, oh, it's like a really negative experience because prices are way down. And what we don't like hide it, but it's also not super easy to show you like definitively like what you've won with this card. And I think one of the things that Sorare have done over this whole time, which again is one of these things that like they've done the whole time, and we've kind of taken it and twisted it in a way that makes it look good for us, is what you can yield from your cards has always been the point of the game. That Sorare very rarely, if ever, talk about like huge profits made from card appreciation or card values at one point versus now, or just over time. Like they very rarely talked about auction prices. Like when the first Erling Haaland card, unique card, went on auction and sold for more than any other sports card ever, whatever the hell it was, Sorare really didn't make a big deal out of it. Like they never mentioned the price. And I don't even know what they did. Like, I don't remember what they did in terms of even talking about it, that it had been sold. And a lot of the users who were into NFTs and trying to like get Sorare into this NFT boom were like, why are you not talking about this? The easiest way to get people to come to your platform is to show them just how much these cards are worth. If everyone in the NFT community just saw that the first Erling Haaland unique card that sold for 650,000 pounds or dollar, whatever the hell it was. Might have been pounds. Then they would like look at Sorare and be like, oh, we want to buy into that too. And then we'd have this like NFT rush. And they just like never did it, because what they've always talked about is this being like a fantasy football platform until they added NBA and MLB, and that you can use your cards to win stuff. And usually it was to win more cards. You could win cash when you had to score 205 points in All-Star Rare, or 250 to win 0.01 and 0.02 ETH respectively. You had podium cash, and then they changed threshold. They changed the threshold to then be a cap mode, but then you could win so much more. And very little of Sorare's own marketing or even just discussing their game was about card prices. It was always about like what you can yield. And obviously, like the more that cards are worth, the more you can yield from them if you win a card and you sell it. So I'm not saying like card prices don't matter. Please don't like take that from this. Let's go back and just see how easy it was to win and what you could win. And again, like values mattered back then because we had a lot of users and all of this, but like the ease of winning is what we miss and we don't talk about. Let me catch up on the chat quickly. JG said, I think they have the right to be upset about losing money. I would too if I invested in something and lost money. However, they shouldn't blame the game. The game is in its best moment. Enrico Mon said, I think it's because most of us weren't around when it was that easy. I think you might have been. Pico said, sorry to say it like this, but the reason they're upset is lack of fundamental understanding, or you can call it IQ, or overinvestments they made in the product they didn't fully understand. I think there's some of that. I think the problem, Pico player, is that there are a lot of users on this platform who became very successful just for being here. And then when it got harder and that you actually had to like work to yield, they got upset. Scott said, I definitely feel the mid-quality classic cards will become worthless. My suggestion on Surgery Way, a 10x rare classic burn to in-season, fix the issue at low cost. We are definitely not talking about burning. Bavarian Beast, spin a minute. Yes, it's more difficult now. The issue I've seen is that even if you have an insane score and are placed super high, the prizes are worse than ever. No? Well, it depends where you play. And the prizes are really the same as they've always been. Obviously, like if you win a Joshua Kimmich rare card, it's not worth 12 grand anymore. But like you're still winning a Joshua Kimmich rare. And the problem is there are more Joshua Kimmich rare cards now than there were when they were 10 grand. But again, like we knew this was going to happen. This has been a discussion point for years that like every year there are more cards. And every year when there are more cards, the value of those cards are going to go down unless we see an insane, even if users stayed the same, even if they increased a little bit. But the things that we've been talking about that nobody really wanted to even discuss over the years, more cards meant obviously that means more supply. And if there's not a huge boom of users, which this is an extremely niche product, that expecting like a huge boom, like we didn't even have a huge boom of people playing SO5. It was just a boom of people buying cards. They didn't want to play the game. They didn't want to yield from their cards. They bought NFTs because they'll be worth more later. Then they weren't, just like almost every other NFT. But if you tried to play the game, you could yield from those cards over the time, like over the last 3 years, and not be nearly as down as you think you are. Philly Dilly said, I asked you about this before, and I know there are technical details, but we really need a way to show Essence won by cards. Yeah, I think the difficulty, like we at Sorare Data cannot do it as far as I know, because I don't think there's any information in the API. And if someone from Sorare is listening to this and I'm wrong, please, I would love to know the correct answer. But it's my understanding that there is nothing in the API that links a box with a lineup and what you got out of that box to that lineup, if that makes sense. So like you win your challenger lineups, and like maybe or you win your challenger 3-star box, and then you get 3 essence from there. I don't think there's anything connecting that 3 essence to the lineup that won the box. And as long as we don't have that, it's like almost impossible to know to connect it. So that's why. But again, if I'm wrong and there is a way to do it, I'm sure we'll try to do it. Hilo said, Pico, while I agree, mostly an argument can be made that the product those people invested in was dramatically changed. See, I actually disagree about that. The product was the cards. Like the people who invested in Sorare, meaning who bought cards with the expectation that they would appreciate in value. The product doesn't matter as much. Like they basically misunderstood the product, but they bought NFTs to like get an appreciation from them. Mike said, I just took a trip down card sales lane and saw I sold a Sean Davis rare card for $250. Yeah. Yeah. Durr said, I joined the game last year and started buying only 3 months ago. Do you think those who joined lately like me will experience a drop like older users experienced? So Durs, that's a great question. And I think the most important part of that answer is did the people who bought when you did and those who buy lately understand what the game is? And if they came in and said, I'm going to buy in-season cards to play cash, and then when the season ends, I'll use those in Classic and I'll buy new in-season cards, and they do that, then I think they won't be upset. Because I think that's how the game should have been the whole time. And like we wouldn't have known, like there was no way for Sorare to know this at the beginning. But this idea of like you use your in-season cards as much as you can, and then when they become classic, it's just kind of like oh yeah, there is somewhere to play them. You can win things, but it's not like a priority. And I think the problem for a lot of OG users is that classic was the priority because that's all we knew. And then when the game changed and they stayed prioritizing classic when it became significantly harder to play, they got upset and they haven't adjusted. Hoodwink, thanks for coming in. Love when Hoodwink drops by. JDL GPL, which I'm just going to assume are letters. When did the viewers of this channel join Sorare? I joined in 2021, lost a bunch of money in value of players, but I love the game. I don't know. I hope that there are users from all over the place. Bavarian B said, I didn't like the pressuring into in-season cards to still win things, so I'm playing only 2 or 3 in-season limited tournaments, the rest classic, where competitions is fierce and rewards are worse. So again, like ignoring in-season, like the classic competitions were always going to be harder. Like they were, the more cards that are out there, the harder it's going to be to win. Like there's no way for more cards to be made every single year and the game to continue to be easy or to get easier. Like it can't happen because either new users come in, and if there are more users that come in, some percentage of those users will be good at the game. And then they start to win, which pushes everybody else down. Or if there aren't new users in, then the increase in supply makes the star cards less expensive. And so more people can get the star cards. And now those people have better lineups and pushing other people down. Like there were plenty of people on this game who were like very good at the game and didn't have like a very big budget for a while. And the drop in prices have allowed them to get the star cards. And so now you have people who are like good at the game with like mediocre players. And now they're good at the game with like great players. And they're going to move higher up the leaderboard, which if they move up, somebody has to move down. So the game is always going to get harder because of the new cards. And like there was never a point ever that So Rare was going to be like, we're going to take this year off. There are enough cards out there. Like, that's not going to happen. Philly Dilly, maybe boxes one from cards, maybe. Tyler said Lon's about to blow up its team. Samba gone, Danso and Kuzanov on the way out. Big impact for champion. Are they gone now or just or in the summer? Samba's going to Ren, right? DM Star said, another note, with the addition of the Scout Center, can SD also have the set piece information as a filter? I mean, we have it by team, but we are working on a new scouting thing. I think that Sorare adding that Scout Center is great. I don't think it's going to be used by enough people in a way that actually helps them. Varian B said, I would have never bought any cards if there was no game, which is why I like Sorare and never bought any Top Shot. Yeah, I think that's fair. Jeff said they made Super Rare useless because no utility anymore and very low rewards. What do you think is needed to get Super Rare back to life? If that was an easy question, it would be done. And I'm not ready to talk about that. Toby, you just here? Farron B said, I wouldn't say I prioritize Classic. I just didn't want to keep investing money. I mean, but you are like, you're choosing Classic. Like, your priority is Classic because you don't want to put money into in-season. Sorry, I have this water bottle that keeps shaking on this desk for some reason. Yippee Kai said, I just think Classic will never be dead. It's just hard when you have low percentage cards. People are just lazy to do this and they just prefer the easier way in season. Totally agree. Like, I think it's okay that in season is a lazy way to play, even though I don't think it actually is. Tyler said, I joined last year when rare keepers were $700 and threshold was life, but adapted and I'm having fun in season Bundesliga and champ. Yeah, it's a very different game. Scott said OG users should be playing in season, need to budget for the new seasons. I agree. Yippee said more users doesn't mean it's going to be harder. Every user can use only 6 Yamal, Rodriguez, et cetera, and champ, for example. They would just be cheaper and more available for everybody. But no, so that does make it harder for everybody else. Like, the fact that, like, I was never at a point where I could get like the superstar cards, and now I can because they're in a more realistic price range for me. It makes it harder for other people when there are more competitive lineups out there. Like, would you rather be in a competition where there are 17 Joshua Kimmiches or 170? Brit Rock said, I joined 3 years ago, saw confusion around how to play the game and watched card values decline, so sold up most of the cards and bailed. Got back in a few months ago, bought 100 cards and enjoying Rivals. Wow, Rivals. Tyler said Samba's going in January. Oh, RIP Steve Mandanda. Lilypad Gaming, I've only been buying cards for around a year. At first, I just bought for buying sake, so my gallery is probably halved in value, but for the last 6 months, I've changed strategies and I've started to reap rewards. Now even planning next season Classic lineup from in-season purchases. I think that's great. But also, like, bought for buying sake, a lot of people do that. Like, Sorare is not an easy game to be good at. And a lot of people who, again, you go back to, if you joined a platform and people were just making tons of money just by buying cards and being there, and that's what you just did, you just bought anybody and it went up, and then all of a sudden that stops happening, you're still not even good at the game. So then it takes time to, like, buy cards that you think will make you good at the game. Like, it is a process to get good at Sorare. Very, very, very few people join and are good right away. And so it's almost like the depreciation in cards from the first ones that you buy, that's your price, that's your learning price. That's Sorare school right there. Scott Warren said, best opportunity right now, in my opinion, is Asia Unique. Wow. You can pick up two classic goalkeepers for £1,000, and you are literally in a fairish fight with Pranksy in the summer. Does Pranksy even play Contender? Sorare Wakey missed the start. It was my fault. I had to start a little earlier today. Yeah. Philly Dilly said, save Super Rare, move all cash to in season, move all boxes to classic. The idea of Super Rare is to win cards and classic to play in season, since you only need 3 in season instead of 4. I do wonder if that's doable, but I don't think it is. Like, I think a lot of people play in season because of the ease of boxes, and that keeps prices from Sorare's perspective high. Bob said, I bought so many in-season cards this summer that I was playing both classic and in-season, and the scores to win were not that much different in contender, at least. I'm surprised about that. Scosmo said, difficulty for OG users and gameplay change is that it was a game of capital. Now it's a game of cash flow. I invested all my money at the beginning of my journey. So that's actually a really good point. And I think that's one thing that Sorare didn't really understand, at least early on, that the prices of cards were based on essentially lifetime utility. And that, like, it's like a big difference with DFS, daily fantasy sports for people, or even like, I guess, poker, in that in other types of games like this, like essentially money games, you can like ease your way in. You can spend a little bit now to like win more later, to win now. And it just kind of keeps going from there. And with Sorare, it's like, I'm going to spend a lot of money now so that I can yield from it for the next couple of years. And so there's an inherent value in that card, knowing that you have a long time to yield, and that doesn't really exist anymore, which is why like prices aren't so astronomical, because like, man, and Sorare kind of, within season shorten that time frame. It's like, oh, I need to like yield now from these cards. Bavarian B said, how do you feel about Rivals? It feels like 2 products at the same time. Is anyone worried they fully switch to Rivals at some point? I stopped playing Rivals, so I don't feel comfortable making a big opinion about it. I think it's a fun game for people who like that sort of thing. I just, to be really good at Rivals, you have to like grind it every day. And I just had no interest, like just from a lifestyle perspective, I had no interest in doing that. And I don't think switching to Rivals is a realistic, like as the main game. I don't think that's a realistic outcome. Tyler said a rare Verts and Kimmich floating around $400 is crazy. Ter Stegen around 130. Never too early to plan for World Cup 2026 until it has in-season requirements. I mean, who knows what we have then. Philip Robertson. I don't know that name. Sorare data has helped, but complexity and frustrations around Sorare, like DNPs, limits in building competitive squads, is crazy. Not complaining, need to dedicate time like the OGs. So it's funny you say that, Peter, because there are a lot of OGs that don't dedicate time to it and never did. They just got lucky. Kai said, I saw the Sorare data show and tried to be cheap Italian in-season cards to win cash and champion. More Udinese, Lecce, Empoli, and Lazio than Inter, Juventus, and Napoli, but let's see how it works out. So there are no in-season Inter and Juve cards anyway. So that actually helps when you're playing. Like you'll never see a lineup with more than more than one. So Napoli, there are in-season cards, yeah. And if you're playing rare, there are a ton of Udinese jersey mints on the market. Nanzo said Asia Unique is the most difficult to play. Trust me. I believe that. Philip said 100% lifetime value versus upfront cost variance is so vastly different. Yeah. Let's see. Tyler said in-season Bastonian summer would be cracked. Yeah. Yeah. Baron B said, good point on capital versus cash flow. I loved the long-term perspective when they said you can use cards forever, which you still can. I knew it couldn't go on forever, but still they did take that away from classic cards, and it's fair and square. But maybe they should have chosen a different model from the get-go, but I guess it's easy to say in hindsight. There's plenty of hindsight, yes. But like, how is classic any different? Like, you're using classic cards to win cash. Like, that's what we did. Excuse me. Using classic cards to win in-season cards. Like, you're winning cards with classic. Like if you want to say like the threshold is different, like yes, that is different. Where you win cash on Sorare is different. And not only the location, meaning like you need in-season cards, but you also have to like compete against other people. You have to like get good scores to win cash. It's not just like, hey, reach this 205 points. Like that's crazy. All right, 45 minutes in and I haven't even gotten to the point that I made that I wanted to make. So the card that I came upon was this Olivier Buscagli card, which used to be mine. And when limited cards came out on Sorare in, I think it was August 2021, I bought some. I bought a lot of them actually. And I did this because there were a lot of cards of players that I wanted to own that I couldn't in rare. And it's not like these cards were like cheap, but they were significantly cheaper. So let's see, August 27th, 2021. Let's see what the rare cost at the time. August 2021. So in August 2021, a rare Olivier Buscagli cost like, let's call it $800. He was U23 at the time, and he was great. And I got his limited card for 131, 0.04 ETH. And it became like a foundational card for me in U23. And the funny thing about this card, let's see, somebody bought it. Like I eventually sold all my limiteds, and this card was part of it. But these are the rewards that I won with it. And so I started game week 200. I won an Efrain Alvarez limited card that I sold for $23. Like, yeah, no big deal. I played him in All-Star. I won a couple other guys. That's Jessiel. I don't even know what did he play for? Frontale, maybe? Is that who it was? Yeah. And as you can see, it just kind of keeps going. And so I finished 21st in U23. We showed Division 5 here, but there were no divisions back then. So I won this like Brendan Aronson card. Brendan Aronson now costs for a limited card $2.65. And I sold this one for $300. And where's that? Here we go. Game week 206. To win this card, 380 points. Yuya Oki, Koki Makita from Antlers. I don't think Oki plays anymore. Makita's at USG. Buscagli, Ibrahim Sangare, which was Sangare was like my favorite player on Sorare. Never got his rare card because it was so expensive. And Cody Hackbow, who I captained. Sangare had 100. So this lineup got me a tier 1 limited card that I sold for $300. 380 points. There was another one. I had a 5th place finish here. Game week 210. Let's see what this lineup. I think it was probably the same lineup. So Buscagli, Sangari, and Hackbow from PSV. And this time I had Philip Cohn, who's now the starter at Monaco, and Max Wober, who's at Leeds. And they were a Salzburg defensive stack. So 5th place, I won Ryan Gravenberch, who was at Ajax at the time. And I sold this card for $425. And what did I score here? 401. 401 points in limited got me a $425 prize. And it's just like a bunch of limiteds like this. Low scores to win rewards. Here, this was a great one. Game week 250. This is how you know you're an OG. When you know that Luis Sinisterra used to be like one of the best players on this game. Cohn, Buscagli, Sangare, Veerman, and Hackbow. What did I pay for? So Biscagli, I paid what, 130. What did I pay for Sangare? 90. Hackpo, I paid 140. And Veerman, I remember I was so excited to get this Veerman. $473 I paid for a Veerman Limited. And I won 55 rewards with it, including I had a podium here. One Grimaldo in Challenger. What did I spend? What did I trade for that? Oh, that was part of my my limiteds. Makes you really wonder why I sold all my limiteds. Maybe because eventually I won Moncayola, and Vrioni and Tammy Abraham. Oh, Sinistera. So game week 250. Was that this lineup? Yeah. 250. 425 points. That won me Sinistera, who I sold for $355. Now, again, obviously the values are important here because I'm like, you're making a ton of money. But you're also scoring 425 points to finish 13th and win that much money. Like the game was so much easier. Let me get back to the chat. Ryan said, apart from the cash, the number of rewards different in Classic now compared to what was winnable before. My only thought is that they're slightly down because of Essence, but I don't have those numbers. The Variant Beast said, yes, you can still use them. I think that was classic cards. And I won a few in-season cards, which enabled me to play more in-season. I think NBA annoyed me the most because I went hard expecting they would be adopted by the masses in the US, a lost bet on my end. Deanne said, what's this memory lane? Yes. Graham said, Oki just transferred. Okay. Toby said, Cohn's the backup at Monaco starters. But yeah, I knew, but he's starting now. Ricamon said 380 points in season now probably gets you a box. Bob said, but only 20% captain. Also true. And Skazmo said that 400 is like 450 with collections and 50% captain. Even with the 50% captain bonus, 380 is crazy low for a tier 1 reward. And DN hits it. Less supplies and less bozos playing. Actually, that's not true. There were plenty of bozos. Tom, late but hello, presuming I missed a lot. You have missed a lot, Tom. You have. But it's not even to the point of like the scores are low. It's that it was just an easy game to play. Yes, there were plenty of bozos who played at that point. Like here's this all-star lineup, 329 points, got me a tier 3 limited. Let's find out what that card was. This was game week 250. Christopher Svetko that I sent to a bot. Eventually for Bake John Byung, excuse me. I bet these were all rewards. Well, surely I wouldn't have bought any of these cards. Never even heard of these guys. Oh, Vanderkust. I know him. Deanne, check the number of entries and one. Yeah, one entry each. Also true. I don't think there's an easy way for me to check entries at this point. Like this Cody Hackbo. So I sold this card actually when it sounded like he was going to leave. Like I sold him, was that May 12th? So I sold him at the end of the season. So I used him for one season. 147 bought, 433 sold. And I won 36 rewards, including 21 cards. Yeah, the game was easy. Like we had it easy. We didn't think we did. I feel really dumb selling all these cards now. But that's what I did. Can I see? It's going to be in like 100 different. Yeah. But limiteds were great. I spent more money. Like I spent significantly more money on Sorare because of limiteds. Um, but a lot of people think that they shouldn't have ever been released. Nanzo says it's all relative. Not many people were banking the cash. They were buying similar cards at the same price point. That's fair. That's fair. But you could bank the cash. Like you could have. I didn't. Dan said U23 limited was kind of expensive to get in because U23 limited is really expensive. Yeah, I mean, that lineup that I showed, like I probably played Sangari, Biscagli, Sangari, Veerman, Gakpo all the time. Sorry, I thought I was showing like something like this. And actually, even the that was the other thing. Like I won a reward in game week 201, 202, 203, 204, 205, 206, 210, 211, 225, 226, 228, 229. Like you're just winning all the time. I actually think did I put this in a list? Yeah, hold on. Sorry to show a Google sheet. But like these were some of the rewards that I won with Biscagli, that Biscagli card I was showing before. Like $2,000 in rewards. Tammy Abraham 284. Game week 254. What did we score there? Did I have a good one? 395 for 55th. There it is again. Oh, Noah Lang. Noah Lang was like a U23 forward beast. And I could like the rare was just the idea of a Lang rare was just absurd. And like the highest it got was 5,700. But even like in this range here, $4,000, $3,000, like, and I was like, oh, let me just buy the limited for 300, or no, that's not mine. $554. My God. It was fun to have that card. Yeah, 37 rewards, 31 cards. Look at me winning Kai Wagner. Who knew? I bet I sold that card instantly. Oh, no, I didn't. Sold it for $50 after using it to win 20. That can't be right. Oh, that's total 5 cards. Oh, there's Svetko. That's funny. Benito said tier 1 in 55th place. Now you get a tier 3 in that position. Could be a little different, though, because of divisions. But saying that the price you had to pay for limiteds now are similar to good rare players today. Yeah. And people are buying those and making it harder to compete against. Because scores to like win, like it's a more competitive game. Like, yes, you can make the 50% bonus and collection bonus, and all that stuff. Like that stuff matters in terms of like citing points required for rewards. But like when I bought that Biscagli card, mine was 35 of 1,000. And is the like that was it. Those were the first ones. Like the Biscagli price graph. Let me go to his page because that'll be easier. 2021 cards. Like when I was competing here, what did I say about 35? Oh, 34. Oh, I forgot this. I bought 2 of them. I think. Let me see. That's number 34. I bought a bunch of them. Yeah, so I bought 34 and 35. I don't know why I did that. And then I sold one for 187 and then used the other one. But like when I did this, these were all the Biscagli cards that I was competing against. And like throughout that season, let's see, until May. Hold on. mean, they didn't even get to 1,000, like not even close to 1,000. But like by April, we got to 145. So imagine competing, and pretty much everybody played him in U23 at the time. But like, you're only competing against 135 Biscaglis by the end of the season. And now in Classic, there's almost 10x. If there are 10 times more cards of the best scoring defender in the game, it's a ridiculous score graph. The game's going to be harder. Dan said, Laird, are you regretting selling all those limiteds? That's a good question. I sold all my limiteds to, who was that? Fabian DVD. I don't know if he still goes by that on Sorare. And like the next day I bought a Lionel Messi rare. And there was zero regret of me selling those limiteds until I just looked back. And it was like, I was obviously yielding fairly well from them. And just got to a point where I was like, it was almost like too much. I wasn't putting in the work at limited at the time. Like I wanted to make a bigger push in rare, which is why I got that Messi card. And so I don't regret it. And frankly, like with the way that classic limited competitions are now, like sure, they would have been competitive, but like not super competitive. And no, I don't really regret that. No. Dean said you sold them all to a lowball trader that made bank on your expense. So surely that, well, I don't know if they made a profit on my cards. I would assume so. I believe I sold them for 83%. I think that was the percentage we landed on, 83%. I had like hundreds of them. Let me see if I can pull that out. Like it was a lot of them. All sales limited. And the time it would have taken to sell all of these cards individually, here it is. So to sell all of these cards individually, and to be honest, I basically paid to have Fabian take all of them. Like there were some that would have like never sold. And even if he gave me like a penny for them. So I think these are in 10 cards, right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 10. So basically 121 cards that I sold like that for 83%. I was good with that. It didn't matter. But you notice that like I had very good players. Like Pote, Hulk, Veerman, Cecina, Verbruggen, Everson. I had some a couple Legends cards. Enzo Fernandez. I kind of forgot I owned an Enzo. In fact, I totally forgot I owned an Enzo. Huh. How about that? Let's see. I bought a bunch of Sounders guys early on. I remember Matvey Safinoff was like a U23 goalie at the time. Noah Lang. I had a Don and Coates who I couldn't get in rare. I now have in super rare and they're worthless. Yeah, Tony Cruz, another one that I really wanted in rare, never could. Tapsoba, Harold Preciado. Wow. Yeah, it was like a bunch of guys like that. Paulo Diaz, look at that. Ever win with this one? One card. GG's Laird. Yeah, so it's just like, yeah, I hope they made money on it, but I don't know. I would assume so. But I was willing to take a 17% haircut so that I didn't have to sell those cards. Like I just wanted them out. And to be honest, it wasn't like, it didn't feel like lowball at all. It felt like I was paying them to take my limited cards from me in one fell swoop and giving me enough money to buy a Messi rare card. I wonder, hold on, when was that? That was April 2023. It's not even that long ago. And I got my Messi rare. I had a Messi limited that I kept because it's Messi. But I bought my rest. Yeah, April 18th. So it was almost like the same day. Kai said at that time, threshold was still there. Rare and super rare threshold were the thing back then to win money easily. I mean, back then there was no super rare threshold. It was only rare. Bavarian B said, any thoughts on switching in season now without putting more money in? Sell classic cards and go into in season, or sell current in season cards and classic to prepare for next in season? It's whatever you want. But know that your classic cards are worth significantly less than your in season ones. So it's not like you can like trade just a little bit. So we'll see. Trezor Top Shagger. Yeah, he was good. He was good. So limited wasn't as attractive as limited in season now. I think that's right. Mike said, let's be honest, once you sold, you didn't care what they did with them. I mean, like, yeah, no, of course not. Yeah. Traders buy these cards and insta dump them on floor. I mean, that's what they should do. I just didn't want to go through that process of going through 125 cards and listing them all and getting terrible offers. And that, like, I just wanted to get rid of them. Himmer Thompson from Twitter. Sorare turned me into a football fan. I rolled with an Allison common until I got a Bill Hamid rare. The death of Threshold and Sorare MLB is what got me out of rares on the football side. The competition model and divisions on the football side is too complicated for a noob like me. But you're not a noob. Migrated 96% of my gallery to Sorare MLB. My gallery valued at 10K yielded 4K in rewards that I sold last season. Love the gameplay and daily action. Don't miss the DMPs. Enzo said you did well getting good money, those limiteds at that point. Yeah, I agree. 125 cards is not even that much. Like selling 125 cards, I just didn't want to do it. What I wanted was a Lionel Messi rare. And so I sold all those cards for a Messi. Bavarian B says, I know it would be selling lots of classics to get a few in season, but it might be better. Anyways, better to focus. For contender and challenger, I don't do any research and just use SD auto suggest. I mean, you need to, you still need to do well. And like, you need to be good to win an in season. It's not like free money. How much did you pay for Messi? Let's find out. $1,769. And I've won so little with it. Well, that's not so bad, I guess. Let's see. I sold this Richarlison, I remember. Oh my God. Let's see how bad this is. Traded it to Pavel. This is one of the worst trades in the history of trades. Ryan Gauld rare, Nozawa rare when he just became a starter. Gustav Isaacson jersey mint, which I'm furious about to this day. Richarlison and Chris Brady. So I believe every single one of these, except I think Richarlison, Brady, Nozawa. No, I'm sorry. Gauld, Richarlison, and Brady were rewards. And I sent $478 for this stupid Adon super rare, which I won a bunch of thresholds with. Yeah, that's tilting. Yeah, I haven't done well enough with this Messi card. Jadon Sancho. Yeah, I won this Sancho card and sold it, I think. Oh, another trade. Let's see how badly this one was. Sancho rare, James Madison limited, and a $25 for an Oral Simsir super rare and Hakan Evian rare. No, that's a big win for me. Let's go. Yeah, but he's still going, and it's Messi. There he is. Gator Guy 231 is trying to convince me to basically get a collection for this Messi card. So I get the cheap cards like Hakimi, Nuno Mensch, Marquinhos, Donnarumma, Vitinha, Zaire Emery, Mbappe, Ekitike, Neymar. Easy. That trade would keep me up at night. Pavlo gets the most dumb trades. Adon at that time was very good. Real ones, no. That was a card I always wanted. Adon super rare because I had a Coates super rare, and then I got to play super rare with them. I still own those cards because why would anybody want to buy an Adon super rare right now? Or why would I want to pay for it or sell it for pennies on the dollar? I just wouldn't. But anyway, so you look back at all of that and it's like, man, I really missed out. Were those not the funnest times though? Mike said, yeah, they were. They were really fun. It was a funny time when you like won a card and you were like, I have no idea who this is. I don't even know who's player, like what team he plays for. How much is it worth? And you're like, oh, $250. Not bad. And then you sold it. But my only advice is get over it. That game is gone. And if you want to keep playing, Tom said, I'll chuck you a Mars bar for the Adon Super Rare. Fun size, though, not the full size ones. Take it or leave it. I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave it. Major NFT, you're going to stock up on Christmas cards. I have a bunch already. They got me. They for sure got me. Dan said, now you win a card, he's worth €1. Maybe. Or you just win cash. Go win cash. Because that's the game now. Anyway, I'm going to go. I'm glad we made it. I think tomorrow's show there will be a show tomorrow. I know it's New Year's Eve, and I'm sure you guys have great, huge plans and aren't going to watch. I'm not going to do it early in the morning for me, so it'll be around the regular time, which is like dinner time, New Year's Eve. I can't imagine most of you are doing anything other than wanting to watch Sorare content at that time. So I'll see you here tomorrow. We'll do it. But I think I might go through my contender thing that I tried to do on Friday. There's a few things I wanted to look at that might make it a little better. Maybe I'll do that today. But otherwise, there will be a show tomorrow. Don't worry. My guess is it'll be 5 o'clock GMT. Yeah, 5 o'clock, somewhere around there. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. If I don't, Happy New Year. Hope you have a great one. And remember, oh my gosh, I almost forgot. Please like and subscribe. All that good stuff. Shout out to Quinny. I can't believe I almost forgot that. Sorry, take a few days off and the whole thing just goes. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming. And remember to get those steps in.